Okay. I got a little message that says we are live. There's always a delay on the actual broadcast, so I'm kind of waiting to hear that, but that should be up any second. Okay, and then once that's up, I'll just verify that our sound is good. So I am here with Tony Antoinette, who has a tarot tube channel. She's got Instagram. She makes jewelry, and we have known each other for a little while. Yep, I've got the sound now. We're good. Okay, so we have got a lot in common, and we also have some things that are really like not in common. And I tend to go for very like earthy, grounded stuff. I like things that are pretty and cozy. I'm not saying that Tony doesn't. She does. But she also has this other side to her that I do not naturally have. And that's the Deviant Moon. So I've been watching her videos and seeing her posts and everything, and wanting to know more about this deck, wanting to understand something in this world. So I asked her, what should I start with? And she was very reluctant to tell me what to do. But I finally made a decision. I got two decks. I got the Mildred Payne's Secret Pocket Oracle, because it's so dang cute and little. It's cute. And also I was studying a Lenormand class, so that seemed to be a good fit. And then I picked up the Deviant Moon, the borderless edition, which is a little bit of a peculiar size. It's not a standard, it's like tall and thin, but it's easy to handle. So I liked it. So I thought that was a good starter deck for me. And Tony, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell our viewers at home how you have many more than just a starter deck or two.
Yeah, well, I love the world that Patrick Valenza has created. I love how, so to me, the whimsical characters of these decks is what I like. I like the fact that they are quirky, they're fun, they don't discriminate against anyone, I don't think. They are from his dreams, they're his dream world. No, my dreams don't look like this, but in reality, I guess maybe my world feels like this, perhaps. I relate to his pictures quite a bit. I mean, I don't take these in and I don't ingest the pictures and become the picture, but I just love, from an artist perspective as well, I love his whole style, imagination, and I really do appreciate the imagination that people put in behind their creations. And bizarrely enough, the Deviant Moon, when I was first looking for a tarot deck to read tarot, this was the deck that I purchased as my first ever deck.
This was your first deck?
So this is my first deck, the actual Deviant Moon US Games version. Okay, people, so watch out for the pirate copies. So US Games and deviantmoon.com are the only places you're going to get this deck. So yes. This is it. And this is my first ever deck, the borderless edition. Yeah, and that's how I started into tarot. Really like this. Got an RWS. Needless to say, it did not add up. I was like, okay, I can like the yellow in this. I like the backs on the, the other side. The images were just so ugh. And then I discovered he had like a Triumphi, and I just slowly fell into his website and all his decks, and I now have, I haven't counted, I think my last count may have been something like 26 maybe. There's been a few that he's released since then. I haven't got all of them. I probably have a good majority of them, but I don't have all of them. I'm slacking a little bit. There is somebody in the Deviant Moon group who has everything. Wow. Very jealous. So yeah, there are some unicorn decks of his that I would have loved to have known about beforehand, before I started collecting, and some of those would be for sure in my collection, and they're even weirder than what I have, bizarrely. But yeah, I do have. So you did ask me backstage about his new deck that's on pre-order.
Mhm.
Yes, I am on the pre-order list. Yes, I was on the pre-order list on day one, in the first hour, to make sure that I got it. I didn't want to miss
Well,
out.
I guess
And
I
it is
need to.
delayed. Yeah,
I guess
so it's
I need
delayed
to
on
get that done when we get off.
only if you like his stuff. So I was reluctant to recommend, because these decks, as I've traveled around the YouTube and Tarot Tube and the tarot community in general, they're like Marmite, aren't they? Like, people either love them, or they really, 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 really hate them, or they're adverse to them, or they do everything they can in their power to avoid them. So yeah, I think these like Marmite. I call them people's Marmite decks. But I, like I say, I really do just love and enjoy the artwork and the pictures and the humor that's in them, because they are funny. I mean, you know, the Fool, he's got fire coming out of his butt, for goodness sakes. Like,
He
how can you not laugh
definitely
at
has
this?
fire out the ass. Yes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fire coming out of a lot of butts in a lot of his decks. So people are talking a lot of hot air.
Which is interesting, because that is, it's a reference to some of the older historical decks, which, especially the Italian ones, just so many bare butts out there, like really a lot. That seemed to have been a thing. So, yeah, it's really interesting. So
Okay, I'm not sure if I dropped out, but you froze, and I think I disappeared, so I missed. So there's a
oh,
lot of
okay.
Italian decks.
Yes, there's a lot of Italian decks that have bare butts. Historical, like not today. Well, yeah, maybe today, but like things from the 1600s and stuff. A lot of bare
And
butts.
do you have many historical decks?
I don't. I've got the Solobusca here. I'm just going to try and find an example while we're chatting. Yeah, so why don't we talk for just a minute about how we know each other? Because I won't have to focus really hard, and I can maybe find a deck to example for an example. But so we met actually in an online coven. It was okay. I'm just going to show some things. Okay, so this is the Solobusca Tarot. This is a historical deck, recreation, obviously.
Yeah, it's on my list. I don't have it.
Right. So, but if you look at this, and we're going to look at some of the Deviant Moon images later, you can see, that there's some. So I'm like zipping. Here we go. This is a perfect one. This is good. And there's
Yeah,
a
he's a bit
lot
like
of it.
the Fool, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find the Fool while I go back to our social connections. So we were in a coven together, the Awakened Soul Coven, for a little over a year, I guess. And then we both dropped out at the same time. And I was really enjoying Tony's personality. So I reached out over Facebook and said, okay, Amethyst, I will allow that. I have like a mod on the chat. Right. But I was enjoying her personality. And so I reached out over Facebook and said, can we, stay in contact with each other? Look at this one, getting ready to split this baby in half here. And so we did. And so then I was able to watch her on YouTube and follow her Instagram. And it was just fun. And that's how I got to know about the Deviant Moon, because it certainly wasn't on my radar. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know. Sorry, I didn't know you could have a Streamlabs moderator.
Oh, can we?
I just realized that there was loads of chat missing.
Oh, no.
Apparently we do.
Well, it's yeah, because I have, usually when I go live, I use Streamlabs instead of Yardstream, and there's a chat bot. We're really getting technology now. But there's a chat bot that I use, and it's, here's another one. Children, avert your eyes.
Oh my. Oh. Well.
So when the first time I saw the Deviant Moon deck, I was like, okay, I see where he's coming from. I get this. I see what I hear. I see you, Patrick. So, yeah. Right. So now we'll go into the world building, which you touched on. And one of the things I really, really love about tarot, oracle, any of these decks is the way that the creator has built a whole world. And I think he does this really effectively. And when I was getting ready for our stream, I even sort of jumped in and did a little bit of history research, because I just wanted to make sure that what I remembered kind of lined up with what really happened here in the US. And you could tell me if something similar happened in the UK, because I don't know. So in the US in the late 60s, under Ronald Reagan, a law, something got passed that made it much harder for people to be institutionalized in psychiatric facilities against their will. And, that resulted in a lot of, there was a lot of fallout, a lot of social fallout for that, because it increased homelessness. I do not think there was a correlating rise in crime, but I don't know. But it certainly did increase homelessness. It increased the visibility just on the street of people with mental illnesses, because they weren't able to, the people weren't able to just put you away if you were inconvenient. And I think that this, like with the whole Mildred Payne concept, I think the idea of just
from the asylum.
Pardon?
From the asylum, do you mean the whole like asylum world?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that this idea of somebody like Mildred Payne just being put away because she was inconvenient, she didn't think the way other people were thinking, all of that. When the asylums closed, so eventually, because it was harder to push people into asylums that didn't want to go, eventually they just, the populations dwindled and then they closed. And so now we have a lot less now, but because they're being remade into other things. But for a period of time, I would say the 80s, 90s, early in this century, there were all these unused asylums. They were vacant. And, it was a thing. You would go when I didn't ever, but people would go and party and do kinds of stuff. And then some of them were repurposed to be haunted houses and all this stuff. So this was just like part of the, I think I'm using this word right, zeitgeist. It was just something that was out there, that there were these abandoned asylums, and it was creepy, and you could go into them, sneak into them, and find stuff that might have been left behind. And I kind of get the feeling that Patrick Valenza, he lives or used to live or something. I think the asylum is theoretically on Long Island outside of New York City. It just kind of feels like shared space that I have with him because of all that stuff. And I was just wondering how does this land with you? The idea that there is this asylum that got decommissioned somehow, and people are going in there and finding stuff. Does it sort of resonate with UK culture at all?
Well, I have the book, so this is the world's best coffee table tarot book ever, as far as I'm concerned. Not that I'm, in any way swayed, but from an asylum point of view, we don't really. I mean, I'm not a history buff. But here in this country now, or my part of the world, we don't have them. They are few and far between. It's very hard for people to access mental health facilities here. I mean, you have to be really, really, really struggling before someone kind of allows people to access what they need. We have a few. I mean, I can only think of one in my area where if you are what they call sectioned, that would be where you go. And you have to fit a certain criteria to go there, and it's for certain ages. And then if they can, by any chance, rehabilitate you and put you back out into the normal world, once you get back out there, I don't know what sort of help is around for them. So from an asylum perspective, I'm not familiar with anything that's kind of been left abandoned to explore. You're probably more likely to find an old school around here, or an old churchyard maybe, than an asylum. Yeah, I
Okay.
remember as a child running through an old school building in the town where I grew up, and we were told not to go there because it should be dangerous because it's falling down and yada yada yada.
Right. So that
But it
was
was
the
all unlocked, so you just pop in and like explore. And I used to do that on my way home from school. So I would run there as fast as I could because my mum had a timer. She knew how long it takes to get home, so I'd run to this abandoned school on the way home with my friend, and then we'd get maybe 7 minutes to see how far into the school we could get and run around in it, and then like come out and leg it home to make sure that we were home on time. But there was never stuff in there to pick up or take away. It was just really weird, just like a completely empty school. It was clearly junior school. We call it junior school here, so I don't know what you would call that. So that'd be up to the age of about 11, because it had like the A to Z above the coat hooks. So that's how I'm like aging the school. It's a big old stone building, and not very, well, I say big to us, probably small to some of the schools I see on TV in America, but it was just large, thick stone granite building. It was only 1 story high, so single story, didn't have 2 stories. It just looked like old, authentic English stone buildings, churches.
Yeah. So then you kind of have a feel for that abandoned building. What was the
Yeah,
history
maybe
here thing?
without realizing that I have like a bizarre, freakish nature to go and.
And you didn't find any oracle decks.
Oh, actually, yeah. Now you're reminding me. There's a really old churchyard in the town I grew up in as well. I mean, my friends used to go up there and play on the really like the pre-1900s. I think some of the gravestones, which sounds awful, but we'd like go in and out of all the old ones because they were the beautiful ones. They had like marble stone chips. The tops were often cracked with the concrete, but they had like big, amazing headstones, and they're usually the ones with big cherubs and things that used to sit above them. And we'd go and like sit in the graveyard and freak ourselves out in the daytime because we're only 10, 11. And again, it all had to be timed in the time that my mum knew it took to get from A to B. So like running as fast as we could to get there to go and like be mischievous. I mean, we weren't doing anything bad. We were just going in, wandering around, curious as kids do, having a look. And to this day, I kind of know that it's the back end of the cemetery. I've never been there again since, but I could go there and find my way around the cemetery quite easily to the really old tombstones. And never saw a ghost. I never had anything bad. We used to be scared that if we stood on a gravestone that was cracked, would fall in, and probably with good reason, because you probably would, right? You probably would. You'd fall through if it was like damaged concrete. So
wow, that's terrifying.
yeah, I completely forgot about that. You're just like that, you triggered the memory.
Didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Yeah, so now we'll go into another realm about mental health. We are going to get to the decks, y'all, I promise. And that is the longstanding belief that creative people are frequently, Mary meet Night Daughter, that creative people often have some kind of mental illness. And they'll cite people like I'm a classical musician, so in my world they'll say Robert Schumann, he ended up getting institutionalized. These creative people, they're just kind of nutty, like this performer Glenn Gould, or they'll cite people like Van Gogh, and they'll say, really creative people, they're kind of crazy, just to use old, not PC language. And I was so determined, because I see myself as a creative person, that wasn't going to be true, that I did all this research and stuff. And then I'm now in my 60s, I'm feeling like I do think that when you are a little deviant, you do see things differently, and maybe that is kind of okay. I saw a social media post recently that said, was something along the lines of, try to remember that the people who created ideas of healthy, what normal mental health is, are a bunch of white guys. So that's a particular way of looking at the world. Sorry, I'm not fond of the patriarchy, so just, I know that about me. So then there's like, oh, okay. Pardon?
The conservatives.
Yeah. So then I thought, well, you know what? And currently we are trying to remove the stigma of mental health issues. That it doesn't necessarily mean anything. It just means, yeah, this happens. OCD or neurodivergent, which I don't fully understand the term yet, but yeah, maybe it's okay, and maybe it does have a role in creativity for some people, not for everybody. But I felt like that does kind of touch on this idea of these decks coming out of mental health issues. Does that resonate, or have I just like gone way off into?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I do have a book. I love a book. The book has the backstory, but it took a long time for him to put that book together. I would love to see a book come together for the Triomphe and the rest of his decks, maybe even incorporated into one, but I don't know if we're ever going to see it. I have asked when he was on a live stream 2 years ago, maybe. I did ask if he would maybe consider, because he does like penmanship, he does quick ink drawings and calls them spell sheets, and they're just amazing for me, because I like to follow that exact kind of sort of artwork. And these look like block prints, and they're meant to look like block prints, of course, but these are line drawings. So he just does these quick 5-minute sketches, and he was popping them out, and then he put them up for sale. And I haven't bought one because they sell out before you can even get to them. I think I know the culprit to most of them who purchases them, so I'm not going to name his name.
I'm just going to run a ticker for people who might wonder where you can get those. You have to go onto that deviantmoon.com.
So like when he's drawing these are what kind of got me back into pulling out my pen and having a go at drawing and stuff. Saying that, do you know when you start doing something and then it's like, if I share it with the world, all of a sudden I stop doing it. Not because I'm not interested, but I don't know what happens. Something happens and I'm no longer doing it anymore. After it was like, yeah, this is great. And it's been a big part of my practice. And I do this and la, 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 la. And then I'm like, do you know what? I haven't done that since I've said it like maybe 3 is my bad number, 3 times. And then it's like the practice sort of fizzled out for a bit. But that's what I asked him to do as a book on his spell sheets, going back to the drawing and the books and stuff. I am aware of a couple of other decks he's got in the pipeline, which I'm quite excited about. So there will be a tarot to go alongside this, which is built up on the story of. So this is the Oracle of Black Enchantment by Mildred Payne, and her mum is called Rose, and Rose Payne is having a tarot of Black Enchantment, I do believe. So
fantastic.
I don't know what style. I don't know what style it's going to take, but her mum, who was a very powerful psychic in Patrick Valenza world. So there's a tarot coming out from Mother. I don't know who the Zama twins are and how they fit into the whole backlog that's coming through, but they will have a link into this world at some point somewhere in his stories. So I'm looking forward to that deck when it comes out. I'm aware that there's possibly a skeleton deck coming and a skeleton book. Now, I don't know what that entails, but again, that's going to be an exciting project to keep an eye out for from him. His decks usually come from channel, so he's usually channeled. He has no idea about the meanings of the cards. He draws the cards, so he gets channels, dreams, and sometimes it's faster than he can get them out. So he did talk about this on a live, and I can't remember because I watched so many. He sort of kind of did a little run of them, and I can't remember whose one it was that he was on where he talked about it. So he kind of gets channels, he draws them out, sketches them out. And then when you ask him to put the meanings to the cards, it takes a lot longer because he doesn't have the meaning with the card. He has the image, he puts it on the paper, card done. Then we're like, oh, what does it mean? How do we know what the image is? What's the back? Then he has to go back and kind of ask and wait for the information to come to him.
That's really interesting. So does he ever say anything, like a lot of artists, when they're asked, what is this painting or the sculpture, whatever, what does this mean? And they'll just say, what does it mean to you? Does he ever do that?
I haven't heard him say it out loud, but I'm guessing he does in a way, because in the books and any deck that you buy from him, his immediate answer is, it's for you to use as you want. I'm not going to give you the set reason for how to use that. So, the Mildred Payne, exactly that. You interpret that tree into your life as you see a tree, not as I've seen it or I've been given it. So that's
Okay,
the
so I'm not
simplest
going to feel
example I've got.
guilty that I haven't printed out the book yet. I'll just keep winging it.
What, for the Mildred Payne?
Yes, I
Yeah,
never
don't.
printed it out.
So just simply get yourself a piece of paper. Write. Have you got? Yeah, you've got the same deck as me, the deluxe. So write
Yeah.
1 to 80. Is it 84?
It's a lot. You know, anybody who's watching this later, I've never had an Oracle deck that was this big before. 87 maybe.
And let me just check my back page. 88.
I was close.
So just write 1 to 88 and give yourself a tiny space for a couple lines to write on the card, and then that's all you need to do. Because
Make my own deck books.
yeah, because some people separate out and they pull out the cards that match a Lenormand and use them for Lenormand because they like the artwork. You don't have every single card in there, but you have things that might look like what you want. I can't read Lenormand, so no, I don't do that.
You know, you don't have to. I'll just leave it at that. I learned it, but I end up not using it that much, except for, well, I'm getting really off track because I have a mental illness. I have ADHD. But when I do use it, I don't read Lenormand much, but when I do read Lenormand, I use the Bluebird because it's got a meaning right on it.
Okay, yes. Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing with all the decks now, isn't it? So if I wasn't so precious about what I had, I would maybe get myself a marker, Sharpie or something, and I'll probably write onto them. But because, you know, obviously the Triomphs are from his Etsy shop for England, so I have to go to his Etsy shop to get them into the UK.
Oh, okay.
But if you're shopping from America, you can just go straight to his Deviant Moon website and get them. So for me, these become very precious, expensive decks to get. Therefore, I'm not going to destroy them and write on them.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, y'all didn't hear this. It wasn't spoken of, but maybe I could get them and ship them to you cheaper. We'll talk about that later. Shh, nobody heard it. So yeah, I'm looking at these, and there is definitely enough space to write a keyword on these cards.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and why not? Because they're your cards, right? So they don't have to look like this forever. Why can't you put something on them?
Yeah, I think people sometimes treat their decks really preciously, and I don't. I like it when it starts to look beat up, right?
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. If it's cost me 120 quid to get it, I'm not going to damage it.
Okay, never mind.
if it's cost maybe 30, 40 pounds, I'm going to consider writing on it. Even then, that's like, I'm more likely to write on a mass market £20 deck than I am 30, 40. But
okay, yeah, I'm thinking of my Everyday Witch, which is just beat up, really beat up.
Yeah, I love that deck. Yeah.
I love it for being beat up as well as itself. Okay, shall we go ahead and get into actual decks? Let's pretend. Actually, we don't even have to pretend. We'll use the tarot. Let's talk about the tarot that I have after much consideration. My intro. Oh, wait, I have to leave these two cards out because we're going to talk about them later. So let's say, what would you tell me? Let's pretend like I've never touched this deck before. And what would you say to me about how I should look at it?
I would say appreciate every image for what it is and not for what you expect it to be.
Okay.
They're colourful. They are quirky. Is that what you want, or were you meaning something more?
Nope, that gives me something to start with. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card at random. All right, so I got this one. I'll put this up for everybody. And yeah, I think I've got that.
And Pentacles.
Yes, which is a card that I like a lot. Okay, but I'm going to pretend like I don't know my tarot. So your advice was to treat it for what it is, not sort of what I think it should be, and to really look at the image. Did I get that right?
Yeah. But then I am an air sign, so, you know, do what I say, not what I do.
Okay. So I'm looking at this and I'm seeing the little, I have to take it down. That's too hard to do that. So I'm seeing the figure underneath. The chess table is on that figure's back. And it looks, oh, thank you. It looks like at first glance, so I'm just going to take it. It looks like that's a doll that you would maybe use in some kind of ritualistic spell that character is holding. And then the other two are playing this chess game with additional figures. And that moon, the way the moon is not the way the moon appears in the sky, it's more of that cup crescent look. So when I look at this now, forget what I think about the Ten of Pentacles. I do see a community, and because the figures are different sizes, it could be, it could be a community like a maid family. But it also seems to me to be like all the contributions from the individuals could be a little bit manipulative and not just for the common good, whatever they're building and creating together. Everybody's got a little bit of a vested interest. I get that right? I think I got that right. Yeah. So what do you think about how I read that card? I'll hold you down now.
I think it's fine. Like, yeah. So when I look at the card, I see grandparent teaching child skills.
Oh.
And the person sat under the table, to me, that's my annoying sister stealing a piece of the chessboard so that we can't complete the game. So I see like family life there. That's what I see. I see time with a grandparent doing something, because my parents wouldn't have taught me chess. That would be something maybe my grandparents. I remember doing checkers with one of my granddads many years ago. So that takes me there. It takes me to that point. And it would be of an evening because, grandparents had to work as well. So right. When they come home from work, and definitely an annoying sister stealing the main piece.
Fascinating how we came up with those two completely different readings.
Mm-hmm.
I love tarot. Oh my gosh, I love reading cards. So that brings me to another point that I wanted to bring up about these. So if you look at the guidebook, this little guidebook, he does have upright meanings and reverse meanings. But for me, because of the sort of deviant nature of the imagery, I almost feel like I don't need to have it upright or reverse, because I feel like it's just a spectrum. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't really do reverse cards anyway. I never have done. I read a balanced card. If you get the feeling, don't you? If the reading is kind of coming up with that sort of gut warning feeling, you know that the next card, even if it's the 10 of Pentacles or 10 of Cups, you know that that's not really what you're finishing that reading on, is it? If you've got like the Tower and a 3 of Swords, you know the 10 of Cups doesn't quite fit. So you know that you've got to look for the other side of it. You've got to balance out that story as it comes. Well, right. I'm saying, you might not know. And if you don't know, revelation.
No, I agree. And especially if you're using a spread where the different positions have a meaning, and it's like, what's the obstacle? And you get the star card. It's like,
or the sun, right?
I don't, what? So yeah, I think you do have to be open to that. And I do think it's easier with these images to be open to that, the broad meaning of the card.
Yeah.
So I know that some people use this deck for intuitive reading specifically, and some people use it specifically for shadow work. But I'm guessing since it was your first deck, you used it for anything, right?
Yeah, exactly. Anything and everything. Oh, I say anything and everything. Anything and everything meant for me. So, you don't learn tarot and start reading for people, do you? This was me putting down spreads and learning for myself. And at that point in time, I know the lunatic spread is in this with this deck, but I don't think it was that spread that I used. I may have been having the I think it was probably the Celtic Cross, and there was something spirit, like talking to your spirits, and they would have been 2 spreads that I pulled out of. The other deck I bought after this one was
so yeah,
Colette Baron
it is the
Reed's.
lunatic, you're right.
Yeah. So Colette Baron Reed's Good Tarot was the other deck I got after this. So this one and Colette Baron Reed's were my first 2 in. So still not anywhere near a traditional tarot deck if you want.
Oh.
But Colette Baron Reed's book had spreads in the back, I do believe. And then I had the Angels and Ancestors Oracle. That was my first ever Oracle. And then the Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Lynn. So I had them 4 decks for a while. And then I think I got an RWS whilst I had what's the big famous one that everyone has in the blue box?
I don't know, because I actually don't own an RWS.
No, not an RWS. Oh, come on. I can't even think of it. She's done the one with the animal heads deck.
Oh, Lightseers.
Yes, Lightseer. They had Lightseers on order because you had to pre-order it and then wait for it to come in on the print versions at the time that it was out. That was on order. Then I bought an RWS because I could get that within a day or something, because I wanted something else to play with at that point. I was starting to see different images, different artwork, different expansions, and that's when my bad habits started to grow.
What bad habit? I mean, I hardly have any decks. Let me get the right angle. Bad habits, you say? Oops. Well, how did that happen? I blame COVID, honestly.
Yeah, no need for shoes or, new underwear or clothes.
Right, and I love to travel, and I just couldn't.
Buy a deck.
Right, so I'd buy a deck and I'd travel into somebody else's world that way.
Yeah, I'm not going out for dinner tonight, so I'll buy a deck.
There you go. It made sense to me at the time. No regrets.
No.
So Night Dot Oracle says probably the only tarot deck you might connect with is Crystal Visions. I don't know that one. Who did Crystal Visions?
I don't have Crystal Visions.
And I have to say that the range of your first decks is, it just puts a smile on my face. And that's another way that I know Tony is that I saw she did an unboxing for her swag box for Colette Baron Reed Oracle Palooza one year, and it just looked so fabulous that I joined. So I did Oracle Palooza with Tony. I don't think we ever got in. We never had a breakout group together, though, did we?
We didn't. No, we didn't. I did go to the group that was set up on Facebook afterwards. And I was in there for a bit, and then I kind of thought, yeah, no. And out it came, because everyone was using those decks, and it was like religiously those decks. And I was like, I don't use them every day, so I couldn't come to the group. I couldn't come to the group and post my daily calls with these. So it was like, I just need to, when you're in too many places at once, you can't herd it in, rein it in, keep an eye on what's going on. So I was like, I just need to come out of some of those and let them enjoy the decks daily themselves. And then obviously a lot of the Oracle readers didn't understand tarot, and that was the other weird thing that I found in there, because I came from tarot. So it's like, well, why don't you know? So if I used Colette's Good Tarot and popped her other decks alongside it, again, there was like questions about the tarot, and I was like, yeah, I'm not here to teach. I was just here sharing, enjoying my space and sharing. So anyway.
Yeah, I never participated in those groups. So, because like you said, it was just like straight ahead Colette Baron Reed Oracle decks. And I just like mixing things up. Oh, gets to my next question for you. Pairing decks. So do you find that any of these decks, any of the Patrick Valenza decks, pair well with other decks, or do you like to use them on their own?
Right. So if I know you're familiar with my channel, I don't know if anyone else watching is or isn't familiar with me. So I do my monthly journaling. I just share my journal and the decks I work with. I don't pair specifically for a reason. To me, an oracle deck is an oracle deck, tarot deck is a tarot deck, and they should do both jobs for whatever you need. I am more aware with, I get stuck actually. I do have a bit of a stickler with oracle decks because they seem to have more of a set mood to the oracle deck, a theme. They're more themed, and you have to be using whatever for that theme. I don't like that. I like an all-rounder. Things like the Abandoned Oracle, I feel is more all-rounded. The SPO is more rounded to me because, you know, the tree should be able to clarify up most decks. There shouldn't be any reason why you can't clarify a tarot deck with a tree or hand or, you know, whatever symbol is in there. The Abandoned Oracle doesn't bother me. I'm going to chuck that on top of somebody's reading and not be worried about it. But, you know, the keywords, so plants, maybe you don't want to look at the picture, but the keywords are quite good in these, the kiss. But that also, though, you know, with the kiss comes like, you know, you could have, we've got blue lips there, so lips are poison, you know, so beware what you're kissing, which then takes me to an Alice Cooper song, Poison. The infant, so shedding light on that. Now that could be, if you want to talk about shadow work, that could be a shadow work card. It could also be your inner child work, maybe a childish nature. So there's so many things that you could bring out from that, like the specimen. So these I would easily layer up on top of any deck. My tarot decks from Patrick Valenza, I probably generally use amongst his oracle decks because the color palettes actually do merge quite nicely and the images do work really beautifully together. I think, I can't remember now. So I think I used the Deviant Moon Paradoxical. So that's another version of what you've got in your hand.
What's the difference?
So we have blue backs.
So when they have the variations, sorry to interrupt, when they have the variations, is it mostly about the backs or does any of the artwork change or the palette?
So Paradoxical, he's changed up the front of the images. So it's exactly the same deck, but the images are different. And this I did feel gives a different feel to the deck. So what did you have a minute ago? The Ten of...
It feels like there's more color in that.
To you, right? But to me, this deck feels colder.
Oh.
So you still got your Ten of Pentacles. So, yeah. So this one to me feels
the way it's coming over.
It feels more Halloween-esque for me. So it's like a negative. It's like a so all the purples turned aqua, all the blacks have turned white. So it's almost like a negative imprint, but it's not quite. There's more to it than that. It's not just as simple as flipping the color. And in amongst the decks, so some come out more purpley pink or Queen of Pentacles. So yeah, I do like this one, like the Hierophant. He feels more like a chess piece to me in this deck than he does in the main Deviant Moon deck. So this one I don't use very often. This one I do use more for a seasonal Halloween kind of deck. And I do pair it more with a couple of other oracles actually, from other creators for that one. This one I think I pair with a couple of my oracles that aren't just by him, but mostly his oracles are the ones that I like to use. The Trionfi della Luna. Which one's this? My favorite. This one I do own a backup for.
So you could draw on that one if you wanted.
No, absolutely not. The backup is when this one gets badly beaten up. So yeah, so I like this one. This one surprised me. I never expected to like it. So the colorway actually, because I own this in 4 colors. Can't remember.
Wow.
But it's the rose that is my ultimate favorite. And then I have this in the illustrated versions as well.
Amazing.
But so I think that one in the old-fashioned colorway, I can pair this one with anything. So this one will pair with most of my oracle decks in my shelf, really. I don't have to worry about. But you don't have this one yet, do you?
No, I just got the 2, and then I got busy with other stuff, so I have to really sit with them. So, but I did find one pairing that I really, really did like with them, and that was this. This is the Happy Tarot from Los Scarabeo. April Fools! That's my April Fool joke. It wasn't a great joke.
It's past midday here, right? It's 5 o'clock.
Oh, yes, April Fools. So, yep.
You
Okay.
could do if you're doing shadow work.
I don't actually sit down and say, oh, I'm going to do shadow work. It just happens. It happens when it's going to happen. I don't go looking for it.
No.
And I don't feel like I need a deck specifically to do shadow work. I mean,
no, any deck will work, right?
Yeah, I respect that people like have decks that they use for certain things. That actually seems kind of cool. But I never really felt like with these decks, I wouldn't feel like, oh, this is my Halloween deck or this is my shadow deck or whatever. I just would feel like this is just the deck. It's just a tarot deck. It's just a oracle deck. And I'm just going to be looking through a window that I don't normally look through. That's how it feels to me. You know,
I mean, the Halloween tarots per se, because it's named the Halloween tarot, and it's orange and purple, and it's great and happy and fun, and it's in a tin. That one I do pull out for Halloween. I've said many times it's actually my travel deck, so I'll chuck it in my bag if I'm going to London, and then it's in my bag, and that's the one I take any time of year. I don't know why just that one, to have 7, 8 decks in a tin, but that one goes. But then at Halloween, that is the one I pull out for Halloween.
Yeah, it's super popular. You know that hashtag, there's 2 hashtags. There's like the 10 mass market decks and hashtag 10 good mood decks or something. So I was watching last night, maybe later I'll link it into the comment section or something. Someone watched all the videos, watched everybody who had tagged it. So it was over 60 videos, did a spreadsheet, all that kind of stuff. And the Halloween tarot was very, very high. I don't know if it was number 1 or not in terms of good mood decks.
Oh,
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do the good mood one because I didn't. Did I do the good mood one?
I didn't.
No, I think I did something else about colors, but I did 10 mass market decks. I did 10 mass market tarot, and then I did 10 mass market oracle. But because I said my oracle has to work a lot harder to be in my collection, the tarot deck I'll pick up because it's a tarot deck and I like the colors. Oracle, it really does have to work. So my 10 mass market oracle decks, I included with the hashtag "it takes a village" type thing. So each one of the decks had a reason to be in my collection or to teach me something.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. So did Mildred make it?
I'm pretty sure she was, but she's a given. Like, she's always going to be there.
Okay.
These decks will always be there. So anything that was Etsy related, I didn't make it in. I just classed those as indie decks because of the cost.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair, even if it's not, even if it is mass market in my country.
Yeah.
I think it's hard in Canada as well. I think they have a hard time getting things affordably.
Yeah, it's that whole like shipping cost and then the tax cost. Because either way we get taxed, whether it's done before it comes to us or when it comes into the country, they hold it in customs and we have to pay the tax, or we pay for it up front. And then of course Etsy's shipping prices are ridiculous, like £45 or something to ship something before
Seriously?
we put the tax on. Yeah, so it's like 65 quid. So we have a £65 charge before we purchase the item.
So if you're buying a deck, you're basically paying for it at least twice.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a burden.
Yes, so it makes it a lot harder and it's more considered. So if I'm going to purchase, I'd like at the time to purchase 2 decks to make use of the postage. But Etsy then has that extra charge, doesn't it, on Etsy? They charge you, if it's 1 item, 2 items, there's an additional charge. Buggers.
I haven't bought much off of Etsy, so I'm not. Yeah,
No.
that's a lot. Yes, I was noticing. I don't know if you ever watched Dark Fae. She used to call it curated shelf. No, she calls herself Dark Fae Tarot. So, Dark Fae Tarot.
I
Dark
think
Fae
I've seen some
something.
curated shelf that rings a bell, but I don't think I've seen the
Right.
new.
Yeah, so she's in Belgium, and all of any of her collection videos, she's always talking about, oh, I would like this one, but I can't afford it. It's insane. So, wow.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
much the
y'all.
same. I think it's actually cheaper for people in Europe to get stuff than it is in England because they don't have the customs charge on top. So they've just got postage to deal with. We have the additional customs coming in.
Wow.
And that customs here is charged on gifts. So if I have a birthday gift sent to me from somebody and it's more than £35, it gets held back and I have to pay £20 customs charge.
To get your present.
Yeah. So I was going to buy a bunch of secondhand decks last year, and then I realized this. So because, secondhand decks, if they're well loved, they aren't much cheaper, but they are a little bit cheaper. And I was like, okay, I'll be green and I'll, be good to the planet. By the time we popped the postage on, and then I worked out there's going to be this customs charge. Actually, I might as well just bought the brand new decks because it was the same price.
Wow.
I have a brand new deck in my hand.
So that makes your dedication to Patrick Valenza's world even more precious.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if I know there's a deck coming or he's got something in the pipeline, I will kind of hold back and wait because of the cost that it's going to be.
I see. So even though you'll sign up for the pre-order, you have to build that into your budget.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just a free-for-all. although it might appear that I'm a free-for-all with these decks, it's not. My collection currently has been over 3 years worth of collecting. But yeah.
Yeah, that's about how mine is. So we really get back to COVID again. So yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
Not needing other clothes and fancy underwear meant I could have more decks.
Okay, so now comes the question: how many Patrick Valenza decks do you have?
Yeah, I think it's 26, 27 with the pre-order.
That's dedication.
Maybe 28.
I admire you. I admire you for that collection.
Some of those are duplicates, okay? So some of them are duplicates. I have 2. Which one is it? I have 2 of the paradoxicals, so I have 2 out of the 500 created of that deck. 2 of those. The Garden of Lucid Daydreams, I have 2 of those. I have the original paradoxical version of this and of course I have the illustrated ones. So I have the pips and I have the illustrated, same throughout all of them, except for this one. So I don't have the aquedoxical pips. He made 30 and I didn't buy one, and I was so silly because actually I really like it, but I did get this one.
Is it still available?
I have no idea, actually. I haven't been to his site to check. The aquedoxical may have sold out, but I do like the colorway on that one as well.
So with the it's the Triumphe that has the pips as well as illustrated. Did I get that right?
Yes. So this last year he created released the illustrated version to be more like the RWS, but with a bit more sass in the same Patrick Valenza tones. But they are based on his pip decks, which are the Marseille decks, his version of the Marseille deck. Nice, elaborate, fun, funky Marseille.
So if I ever... Go ahead, sorry.
People don't like reading with pips, do they? So there's a lot of people who don't like pips. So that's why he put out some limited editions of these. I think he still has I think think he still has this colorway in this version. I think it's still on his website.
You know, I'm going to look at the website. If my picture cuts out, tell me. So now I'm looking on his website to see what's there, which makes my eyes jump around in a very strange way.
Just say hello in chat. Hello. I'm on a tablet, so I can't like click things up on my screen.
Right, sure. Okay, so I'm looking here. So you can get right now, you can get the Trionfa della Luna illustrated pips. You can get the Trionfa della Luna Marseille. The third Marseille, the Paradoxical. You can do a combo with the third combination. Okay. You can get the SPO, the Secret Pocket Oracle from Mildred Payne. You can get the French version.
And is it only in the standard colorway, or has he still got the X-ray?
He's got the Bloody Hell edition, that red one. And it looks like it's just the standard colorway. And then there's some art prints. He's got playing cards, which is very tempting to me, but they come in uncut sheets.
Oh no, I have a set of his playing cards upstairs.
Did you get the uncut sheets and cut them, or you?
No, no, it came as a proper deck.
Oh, okay, all right.
I think there's one on his website at the moment, a new playing card deck.
Could be. All right, so okay, now I got to the odd decks. So he has the pre-order for the Zammer twins. There's still some abandoned Oracle and X-ray abandoned.
I have that one.
A combination of the two for a big price reduction, actually, if you get the combo. The Garden of Lucid Dreams is sold out. And oh, wait a second. Now it says the 2 for okay, yeah. So you can still get abandoned Oracle, X-ray, standard, and then there's just the words Zammer Twins pre-order, and the Carte de Viste, I guess I'm saying right, Disturbing Cabinet, that is sold out. Wow, that was only $20 when it was a thing.
Yeah, I would have probably liked the Cartes de Vista, and he had something called Whispers from the Inkwell. That one I would have really, really liked. So those are the two that would be in my collection, if I could.
All right. Maybe British eBay will just cough one up.
Spit one out one day.
That would be kind of them. Yeah. So, all right. Shall we pull a card for each other, or anybody in the chat who would like us to pull a card and see what we do with it? Let's pull for each other. I'll pull one for you. You pull one for me. I'm going to go with Mildred Payne. Is that good?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to pull one for you. Then I'm going to tell you what I think it means. And then I'll show the card.
So we're just doing like a general?
Yeah, just a general vibe. Message of the day kind of thing. What is it they call it there? Marie calls them. What does Spirit want me to know today? Okay. All right. And we have 2 people in the chat who would like a card pull as well. So obviously, Tony has more decks at hand. So if you want something other than just the 2 that I have, you'll have to direct that specifically to Tony. Okay, so here's mine for Tony. Oh, that's not a bad oh. That's a like, holy shit, what does this mean? Oh. Okay.
What about clarifying it with a tarot card?
Okay, I'll clarify it with a tarot card. I came up with something, so now we'll see. Oh, this is funny. I almost picked up my Solabuska deck. That's not right. Pull the one with the guy with the gigantic scrotum. Okay. You had to be here earlier for that. I'm not going to show that card again. Okay, sober up, Patraki. Oh, okay, fine. Yes, I'm going with it. Lost my headphone here, but I'll put that back in. Okay, so the meaning I get for you for today is that your life is very full. You're having a full, happy day today. And the card I got from that from Mildred Payne was this, the Ankh. And I was also taking a look at the 52 because that sort of felt like a full deck, 52 cards. And then I got the King of Cups as my clarifier, which feels, very full, very full. So, but maybe more with in the feels more than, you got a bucket of money kind of thing. How does it sound? I'm laughing at myself. I'm really like flying by the seat of my pants on this one.
Well, it's Saturday. It's gone 5 p.m. So I'm having a good day and my day is nearly over. I am at home with my partner. He's doing some building. And the only thing I would add, because I happen to have the papers next to me, is the secret knowledge that comes with the Ankh.
Oh, okay.
Chatting about secret knowledge as well in there with our esoteric nature and, the cups.
I like it. You
yeah.
straightened me there. Got me back on the path.
And again, with my numerology, I'd also run with, I'd put the 5 and 2 together and get a 7 because that's what I do. And then I'd add into that some life lessons, some, experiences. So, which is exactly what we're doing. So we're discussing experiences, our lessons with the cards, things that we've learned as we've gone along, and we're sharing. So I don't think any of that was very far off the Ankh and the King of Cups today for me. I don't know that I've mastered my emotions. So.
I never really feel like the King has actually mastered the emotions, more just like got it all going on and mature, generally mature. And you're generally mature. I'll make that judgment call.
Why, thank you. So for you, court cards. Knight of Swords, King of Swords. I'm basing it exactly on what we're doing right now. So communication, flying. I'm literally what you said, right? Flying by the seat of our pants to master a life together.
Yeah.
That was how it felt to me when they just flew straight out the deck. I didn't get to select anything. They just fell straight out. The Knight actually came out upside down, as I said, because I don't do that. I flipped them up that way. So just charging forwards and learning as we go, in order to get to the end result, I think. Or maybe
totally
you've got something more coming up later. Yeah.
Yeah, it really feels
that's
like
better.
I feel like I'm and Swords feels that way to me a lot.
Yeah. Because where are we? The sun is in Aries today. We're in the second decan, aren't we? So we have the sun in Aries. Yesterday, it was there. And I will say yesterday that energy felt manic, absolutely manic around me in work. And I wasn't the only one that said that. And I'm the only one that does weird things because that'd be classed as weird in my workplace. So I did pick up on some very, very bizarre energies. It felt almost like a full moon in the daytime.
That's interesting.
So
I'm trying to think about, and this is yesterday.
Yeah, so this feels, it's still got that feeling of that like coming off a full moon manic energy to me.
Yeah, I'm reflecting on yesterday, and yesterday was definitely manic for me. Like in my personal life, things were just like happening to me, and it was just like, wow, like
a big explosion just went off somewhere, and it's like catch, like all these things in the air, like trying to catch the balls. And now I'm like trying to think of it because I'm doing the deacon walk or attempting the deacon walk. I'm like, so how is that relating to the sun being in Aries, I'm like, well, that's 2 lots of fire, like all this weird explosive energy everywhere. And Aries is very like, you know, headstrong. So like bringing in the sign of Aries, like the headstrongness. Then you've got the Emperor with the controlling nature. Then you have the 3 of Wands for the deacon that we're actually in. Collaboration like coming in on top of it, which would be right, because for me yesterday it's just all these people coming at me in my work, trying to like get me to do things, do this, do that, you know, like just too much coming my way, and not a lot coming off me to give to them.
Yep. Okay, so we were in the same place.
Yeah, I think so. And over in one of the Facebook groups, can't remember which one, somebody did comment the same way. They said that they were having the same problems. So it was worldwide.
I'm sorry to hear that, everybody. Today is a new day. Tomorrow will be another one. That's my motto that I get for this is how I get through every day of my life. Everything changes. It just changes.
Yeah.
Is it good? It won't always be good. Is it bad? It won't always be bad. It's just something else is gonna happen.
I see Giselle's just dropped in, so she's from Mad Witch on YouTube. So she's got a couple decks that I've been showing lately about the Deacon Walk. So she's been like showing her. I want her to show one of hers in detail that I've just recently been given. So.
Oh, there you go, Mad Witch.
Calling her out live.
You've gotten a formal request. I'll have to take a look at that too. All right, so shall we open it up and pull a card for anybody in the chat that wants one? I know that Night Daughter said she wanted one, and I feel like somebody else did.
So Night Daughter said Oracle.
Okay,
oh,
so
my
let's.
chat's just gone.
Oh, here we go. Let me put hers up. Okay. There you go. We've had a request.
Use the Oracle of Dark Enchantment. Oh, okay. Was there a question about, or is this just a daily? What do you need to know?
And there's my Streamlabs chat bot saying it's time to pull a card for the community. Something's right on schedule.
Keeping your schedule. Brilliant. Okay, let me just these are big cards. Okay, just give me a second to get my hands into them.
Okay, so while Tony's getting her hands into them, Dancing Soul Sister, you'll be up next. And it looks like Night Daughter has now got a specific question. And then Dancing Soul Sister, you'll be next. And if you have a specific question, you can put it in the chat and I will pull that up.
So what is
So Night Daughter Oracle's question is, will my dogs find a new home? She had to give away her dogs.
Oh, sorry to hear that. That's quite a beautiful experience, right?
Yes, we all get very attached to our fur babies.
1 second.
No worries. Take your time.
Where is my...
Oh, Mad Witch says she pulled the Moon Oracle deck off the shelf because of you today.
Oh, bless. She's going to do the Deacon Walk whether she wants to or not.
I'm going to have to find out what the Deacon Walk is.
Oh, yeah. It's just about studying the 36 minor arcana, 2 to 9, in the order as they go around the astrological wheel of the year. And they fit into the houses, the astrology houses. So that's why it starts now, really. Aries is the first house. You can pick it up any time of the year, but the first house is Aries. It started on the equinox, so spring equinox, 21st for me. And then it's every 9 to 10 days, you go into a new deacon, because each house has 3 deacons.
Okay. I'm writing this down.
So you have like, you know, yes. So your astrological sign is either fixed, muted, or cardinal. So you have your fixed, muted, and cardinals as you go around the wheel. Then you have your deacons split into like, do I want to call them sextants? I'm not sure if that's the right word for it, but in your first house, they'll split into 3. So you have your 3 deacons every about 10 degrees. And then obviously so you have your astrological house, which links to a tarot card. you have the planet that it's in, and you get 3 planets, I do believe, that go through. Yeah, which is why we're now in the sun in Aries. So you have 3 planets that go through, and then that has a tarot card. The sun is the sun. We've just come out of, God, what were we just in, people? Something in Aries.
Oh, Pisces.
But it was the Tower card. So we had the Tower card in Aries. So it was the Aries card, the Tower card, or the Emperor, the Tower, and then the 2 of Wands. We're now the 3 of Wands, the Sun, and the Emperor. And then you have your outside influences. So I'm not sure if we're still on the Queen of Wands or if we've moved to the next court card. Probably we've moved into the next court card. Then we have the Knight, the Pages for the whole section, and then we have the Aces for the kind of quadrants. Not explaining it very well. Google the Deacons, you'll get a lovely big print up, or Suzanne Chang's 36 Secrets, the Deacon Walk.
So
yeah,
I should just do that with my Deviant Moon Tarot, and then I will know that tarot.
Just checking, Hannah, sorry. There's 2 names that come up in chat which are similar to me, and I forget them every single time. Hannah, Dancing Soul Sister. That's what I was doing while I was doing all that, looking for your names.
Okay, so back to our Night Daughter Oracle. We have not forgotten you.
Don't know if this deck's going to answer that question, but we'll see what comes off, right?
And Dancing Soul Sister, if you want to pop a question in the chat, that would be good.
So I'm just going to use my reference to check, because these have dark meanings. I don't think it's a dark meaning for you, so it's card 40. There is like a sense of antagonistic feeling here with this card. If I take the numerological aspect of it, and we broke that down to 4, then I can see that there is security and stability being sought out within the card. But of course, you've got somebody that's kind of making fun and pulling hair. So it's, like I say, it's not probably the best deck to answer your question. If we just go with maybe some more of the image and take a look at what we see, I would say that you have that's hard, really, isn't it, to answer that question with the dogs.
Do you want to clarify?
I think no, I don't think you can clarify this. I think it's, to me, this just looks like a really painful situation with the hair being pulled. I don't think it's comfortable for you. I think it's a really uncomfortable situation, looking for the right person. But looking for the right person isn't going to be perhaps easy for the... So have you already given away the dogs, or are they still with you? So it feels like that kind of maybe the vetting process, doing this. Perhaps this is more about the vetting process that's needed to find the good home for the dogs, rather than the will they, won't they question.
Yeah, we've got a little
bit
of a lag there, but
yeah, maybe it's like this person is like the person that's forcing the hand, and this person is obviously wanting to be a bit more patient about what's going on, perhaps, or is turning a blind eye, or having to turn a blind eye to what's happening. But this doesn't feel like a happy card, so it's not a very happy deck to pull for that sort of question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Fair enough. And, you know, we all send you our support. This is tough thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Hannah, I think I got the right name. General message to encourage me, please. And nothing specific about a deck, so.
So do you want to pull one, or do you want me to pull one?
Sure. All right. My daughter Oracle is asking what deck you think might answer that question. I don't know if I would go for a Patrick Valenza deck because you want a happy answer, right?
Mm.
All right. I'm going to pull. Why don't you and I both pull for Dancing Soul Sister? And let's see how they play with each other. I'm pulling one from Mildred Payne, and because I have not printed out the guide, yes, we're all sending Night Daughter a
I couldn't
big
imagine
old
having to. Yeah, I couldn't imagine having to take my dogs to a shelter. That's just heart-wrenching. I'm so sorry for you.
Okay,
But
so now just a
if we send the energy out,
yes,
I was just going to say, if we send the energy out that they find a good home, that's probably better than a card.
Yeah, I think that's, yes, some intention. All right, let's see if Mildred Payne is going to encourage Hannah. I'm going to hold it this way so y'all can admire the back of these cards, which I think are fabulous. Okay. I got one. Do you have one, Tony?
Queen of Wands.
All right. And I got an herb. So, or a herb, depending on where you are. So I'm a kind of a herbalist. I have a piece of paper that says I'm a herbalist. And I always feel that herbs are, even though y'all, herbs can be just as toxic as anything else. You really have to know what you're doing. But I look at these as our little earth helpers. I have really good feelings about herbs. So if I get a card like this, and I have no idea what was on Patrick Valenza's mind when he drew this, this one, it's a flowering herb. It could have some berries. This is not anything from the real world, as near as I can tell. Not the one that I'm walking around in today. So I would say you could interpret this any way you wanted in terms of which herb you were going to use for just general encouragement. But me being who I am, I would say make yourself a lovely cup of loving herb tea. And let's see, for me, if you have like any rose hips, I would go with rose hips. Rose hips have got, so, okay, now I'm really jumping around. But see, there's kind of some little berry-ish looking things on this herb. So I'm going to say those are rose hips. And I would go with a cup of rose hip tea. So that would be bringing support to your immune. Wow, here we go. It is allergy season. That would be bringing some support to your immune system. And so I would say support yourself by drinking healthy things today. That's what I say. I'm not sure that the Oracle is speaking through me today, but that's what I got. What'd you get?
Okay, well, if I'm going to lead off what you have with the Queen of Wands, the first thing that comes to mind anyway with the Queen of Wands for me is the spirituality card. So she's got her moon out there. We are in the first quarter, or coming off the first quarter. What does that make it? Waxing? We're coming into the waxing moon. I can't remember how it goes. Wax on, wax off.
Is getting bigger. Waning is getting, which I remember from Karate Kid. Wax on?
Yeah, wax on, wax off. So first quarter, we must be waxing into the waxing moon then off the first quarter. And so with the Queen of Wands, I always feel like, you know, she's got her kind of warrior pose on. So I do feel like today might be a good day to hit your esoterics, you know, get in touch with spirituality. If you're feeling the call to do something spiritual or something for yourself, that is maybe sitting down with your decks, perhaps it's journaling, maybe it is exactly that, getting the herbs out, making a nice brew, a cup of tea. but definitely you could, because I also get like a kind of, you know, like that, like shamanic kind of vibe with this as well, like earthy. She's very earthy. She's got feet in the ground, and drumming. Don't know why, but drumming. So maybe those are the things that you could do today. Perhaps it's actually putting on, who does that song, Ancestor? Kind of really witchy vibe song. If you've got Alexa, ask her to play Ancestor. I feel like that with this card for you today and your herbs. So having some fun, playing sawdust mud cakes, mud pies, just messing around, seeing what you create, co-create, and yeah, just letting your intuition guide you, just following your gut feelings really today, and just, you know, letting it in, feeling it in. Maybe you're having a kind of upgrade to have the Queen of Wands come out, so maybe you've got an upgrade due for your kind of intuitive senses and nature, or perhaps you've been ignoring it, in which case then this is the knock on the door telling you to stop ignoring it. It's there, you can't do anything about it, you need to listen.
I like all of this, and I like the idea of it playing with making some herb tea, because I think probably a lot of us do this just naturally without really thinking of it, because when you're standing there deciding which one you're going to make, or maybe you're creating your own blend, you are putting some intention into it that way. And I think that you could use the message you're getting from Tony with this Queen of Wands to put that intention into your tea, make it more of a ritual when you're brewing your tea, and to sort of hold that message, if that makes sense.
So what she said, enjoying your witchiness, being wild. Absolutely. So it just feels like that kind of definite, like earthy, ritualistic, the word is just like but yeah, just going with the flow, just like going with whatever comes to you. Just you know, like if you want to do crazy dance in the kitchen to ancestors, go do that. Just don't scare anyone in the process, but yeah, just like, you know, go pop your headdress on and you know, jump around and go with the beat and the flow, and just let it kind of like soak in and give it out.
Yeah, I
raise
like
your
that.
vibrations.
Yes, I feel like I want to go do it now.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I do like to play it, and I'm like doing completely off topic, I'm so sorry, but when I'm doing like floor washes or cleaning the house with herbs or Florida water and stuff, I like to have that playing in the background. I don't know why. I don't actually imbue that with anything particular, but I like to have that one playing with the kind of chant that comes with it, and then I use it like while I'm just like washing the downstairs floors for, you know, general cleansing of energies and stuff like that sort of raises the vibration, I think, for me.
Is this, I'm looking it up, I'm seeing something by Robbie Robertson and the red, it's cutting off. I want to play it, but then we could get into copyright violation and get the video taken down. So
yeah, I know. I don't know. I just have it on Alexa. Do you have Alexa in America?
Yes, we do.
So on Alexa, I just type in ancestors. Maybe the picture will come up. I'll just turn the sound down just in case.
All right.
Let's just see what it says. Giselle must know the answer to this question.
Well, while you're
is it the Kindling by Ancestors, possibly? It's in my folk tunes library.
Okay. All right. So experiment. Y'all can find it. Is there anybody else who would like us to pull a card and fly by the seat of our pants? I know we have a little delay, so I'll wait a moment for that. And if not, I think we might close out by sharing. Tony and I pulled cards about our reading, and we were laughing and saying we should look at them again at the end of the stream and see how that all panned out. So I'm getting those. I think I accidentally shuffled my pitchfork back in. I gotta find my pitchfork again. So there's a clue. if I got a pitchfork.
So the one on my playlist is Ancestors by Lila, Lila. and she's
Maybe
kind
you.
of wearing that one. She's kind of wearing like
Okay,
antlers
cool.
on her head.
Awesome. That makes sense. Why don't you, while I'm looking for my card that I shuffled back in, Tony, why don't you type in the name of your channel and the name of your Instagram, since that's a different name, so people will have that in the chat. And Mad Witch says that she would like anything the universe has to say.
Oh, before we go there, can I just say
Yeah.
to was it Night Oracle? Because I wanted to give you something a bit more positive, so I just went here. So you have vulnerability and rebirth. I just wanted to kind of give you something beautiful to look at and see. So I feel like within the vulnerability of what's happening here, the rebirth, I'm hoping is going to bring a nice cycle of life for your dogs. And the kind of like life develops in cycles. And the affirmation on the back of this card says, I am prepared for change at any time. So I'm hoping that that means that the change is positive for your fur babies.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Thanks, Tony.
You can see why the other deck's not particularly well suited to that question.
Oh, did you share which decks those were? I didn't.
This one is. I have no idea what I did with the box for this deck, so maybe I'm not supposed to have the box anymore. These are by Amanda Clark. She's a British artist. It's a nice chunky monkey deck, and you have like a beautiful images, and then you have some information on the back, and it's, you know, again, whether you want to read the image and a bit of the affirmation, or you can take the whole thing. But I just have these kind of out when I'm feeling a bit, don't know, a bit meh, and I just pull one for some inspiration. Sometimes it's just a picture, and I have that out to look at, so, because they are really, you know, gorgeous.
Yeah, they're beautiful, but I hadn't
pictures.
seen them before. So Dancing Soul Sister says that's Earth Angels. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that is right. Amanda Clark's Earth Angels. Thank you. But I don't know what I've done with the box. I have no idea. And because it doesn't come with a guidebook or anything, it's just a set of cards sat in my shelf by themselves in a stack. It's really weird. Not my usual kind of thing.
Perfect. Right. All right. We're going to do one more poll for Mad Witch. Anything? And then we will close out by sharing the cards we pulled before we went live today. All right. Anything the universe has to say for Mad Witch. Mad Witch, I love your tarot tude name.
Oh, and I hope I do inspire you with that deck, Giselle. Let me just shine my halo. She knows what I mean.
Okay, I assumed that was an ongoing thing. Oh, you've got a Tony made me buy it.
Yeah. Giselle and I also have a like shared like wish list, extended list, purchased list.
Got it.
In fact, let's just get this right. This is the lady who inspired me to try cross stitch.
Oh, okay. We were talking about this before we went live. Now we know. I haven't cross stitched since high school.
No, me neither. I haven't cross stitched since, I don't know, what, 9, 8, I might have been, when we did a little square of different stitches.
I'm tempted to run downstairs and get my huge cross stitch that I got for a birthday gift when I was in high school. Maybe I will. Hang on. Okay, Mad Witch, we are going to pull you a card. I'm getting there.
Well, take it as it resonates, Giselle. I'm going with the face. You have the 5 of Swords here, so I feel I'm genuinely feeling here tit for tat.
Oh my.
Touche.
And I'm getting a 7 of Pentacles, so Yeah, keep working on that collection.
Yeah. You're
Stand
gonna have to draw
back
some blood. Yeah.
and admire what you've gotten so far. Draw some blood and get some more, girl.
Sell your blood if you have to, but keep the kidneys.
Can we still do that? Can we still sell blood? That you certainly used to be. Okay,
I
now
don't
we've
know.
lost
I
this.
don't think we've ever been able to.
All right, I'm going to take out my earbud. I'm going to go get this cross stitch because it is so cool and it's such a good message for all of us. So I'm going to get that. I'll be right back. I don't have to go very far, fortunately.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I'm definitely, that is it's probably the face we were pulling at each other earlier on in our chats, but with your 7. So yeah, I definitely saw, I think Ren's mentioned it there in chat as well. So popping a few life lessons into place. So I hope all's well with mum-in-law, because I think that's where you are
Now
today.
I'm going to see if mine is up. It is in
Oh my
glass.
gosh.
So get a little reflection.
How old were you?
So it says
I've got
the only
speaks
way to have a friend is to be one. Okay, now I got to put my earbud back in so I can hear what you're saying. So, okay, that's gorgeous, right?
So how old were you when you did that one?
I didn't do that. That was a gift.
Oh.
I was cross stitching. I was like, all my buddies in high school, we were all cross stitching like crazy, and one of my friends, her nickname was, we all called her Mom. She had that kind of energy, and she made that for me for a birthday gift.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous, and I have carried it with me. Let's see. So I was in Texas when I first got it. It went with me to college in New Orleans. Then it came up to New York with me, and now it's with me in New Jersey. It's, it's had quite a journey. I take it with me.
Amazing.
And it's such
I don't think I've got, I haven't got mine here, and I don't think I've got a picture to hand. I don't think.
I don't know that I'm going to pick it up again, though.
What, cross stitch?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This is mine.
Oh, perfect.
So that's my first ever cross stitch since I was 8.
So this has been a long time coming.
Maybe. It may be a very long time coming again.
And now you've got Halloween as your travel deck, right?
Yes, I do. Yes. Yeah.
So I'll show you my travel deck, just so everybody knows that Tony and I, although I love her work, we're not on the same channel.
That is a beautiful deck. It is a very beautiful deck. Lots of people have it.
It's just so sweet, and the box is really thick, so I can take it. It doesn't get damaged. 70. You're talking about age, huh? Try slow stitch. Okay. I can see 70 from where I am quite comfortably, actually. So, all right, let's talk about what we pulled. Okay, I'm going to hold mine up first. We were like, this might not go well. Right? So I got strength. It's going to take a lot of strength to get this done. The pitchfork things could get a little sticky. And justice, I was going to have to work hard to be fair and, how I moderated this. But you know what? We didn't have any lurkers or weirdos, so that did not happen. And I laughed a lot, but I had fun.
Yeah, and mine was not a great omen for the start. So I had the tooth. So I didn't do the numerology when I first looked at these. I just went straight with the pictures. So I was like, oh, it's going to be like pulling teeth. It's going to be really, really busy in what we're up to, and there's going to be a little devil somewhere hiding in the corner. So instantly I just went with, we're probably going to get trolled today badly, or maybe afterwards, who knows.
Yeah, so maybe the trouble is still coming for us, and we just
on reflection, I'm hoping the 7 of teeth is more the 7. I'm hoping it's more about that lesson, that experience. So we're experiencing a nice busy chat, and there's been some devilish behavior. I'm hoping that's actually the reading, not the way that I first took it, but it's curious to see what comes out of Millie when you drop her down on the desk to see what's happening immediately in the moment.
Yeah. So maybe it was reflecting more of our concerns than what was really going to happen.
Yeah, our inner concerns.
I sometimes fail to really sort of clear and get grounded before I do a reading, and then I just get, especially if I'm trying to read for somebody else and I don't clear first, then it's like, oh, that reading's for me. Hang on, let's try again.
Yeah. It's definitely easier to read with a kind of premeditation. I know years ago when I used to do my psychic classes, I got to a place where I could turn a switch. So I could literally close my eyes, flip a switch in my head, and that switch was like opening the shutters, opening shop. But I can't, COVID fell out of favor doing that and not lost the ability, but it kind of like disappears because I wasn't practicing it every couple of days or so. I'd like to get back to that point, but we'll see what happens. So I need to go back to psychic lessons or psychic development.
Yeah, that stuff really takes practice.
Yeah.
So
is there any decks that I've shown today that you have been tempted or swayed with, or are you still happy with your choices that I didn't push you into but allowed you to freely make your choice yourself?
Right. Toni did not make me do it. She encouraged me to take action on a decision that I had already made. Yes. I think that the one with the negative image, but I don't know if I get it? I don't know if I can get it. But
I think he had a couple. He had, do you mean the Deviant Moon negatives?
Yes. I would be tempted to try that. Ones. Yeah, the one that's... Yeah. Yes.
So these did come up recently. He had a couple, what he called thumped, shrumped, smushed corners on the boxes. He found recently. So there were a couple of these that popped through for sale, which I wasn't expecting to see. I was quite shocked, but there were a couple that come through on sale.
Yeah. So that would be tempting if that pops up again. And I am actually going to research this Deacon block.
Yeah.
And do that with the Deviant Moon so that I will know the Deviant Moon better. I feel like with the Oracle that between my knowledge of Lenormand and my willingness to just see what pops into my head, I'm just going to use it that way. But I love that it's so big.
Yes, I can't do the little tiny one. It's too, it's like trying to shuffle that dinky set of cards you used to get as a kid.
Well, I have to do it this way. Right.
Is that the normal way? Yeah.
Yeah, I have to overhand it because otherwise I'm afraid I'm going to bend them. Yeah.
I think mine have kind of because I used to do like that crazy fast shuffle, don't know what I thought I was trying to do with my cards at that point. They've kind of like slowly, they're getting a little banana to them that way from doing that. And that's just simply from holding them tight to stop them from bending. And, but I don't mind that wee banana, but I wouldn't want them to, get any worse. Yeah, don't want a bunch of fives.
That would be hard.
Yeah. So.
Okay, I just put your Instagram, which is by Antoinette 888. So she's got two different names, y'all. She's incognito.
I am, yeah. I mean, I'm incognito on like 5 different places, but because I wasn't ever planning on being socially found. It was just
right. But now you have over 1,000 subscribers, so.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I'm really, truly grateful to people for sharing and liking and coming over and watching. But I don't know. It's that same thing for all of us, isn't it? That moment of, is what I'm putting out useful to people, or is it too samey? Or, but I don't know that I could change it up. Like, this is my channel. Basically, I'm just doing my thing on my channel, following my journey, which is what it says right in my very first video. And that's it, really. So people can follow me with my journey and my likes, ins and outs and dislikes. I drop things in and out occasionally because it is my life. So it's my life, how it fits tarot into it, and what comes with me. But I don't go into great depth on the other things. I do focus mostly around the tarot. But with the Deacon Walk, I'm probably not going to follow it as strictly as the other astrologers are following it. And so I've done my first video, how does this fit into my life? And I just laid up loads and loads of decks and had fun with it to see. And basically, I think I'm going to treat it as a building exercise on the 36 minor arcana and building on their meanings for me. I think that's how I'm going to do it, rather than studying deeply the astrology side of things, because that goes so in depth. And I do believe that actually without tarot, you can do an astrological reading. Well, we know you can without the tarot. So I'm not looking to do astrological readings just based on tarot. I like to keep the tarot in there and expand on its use. And then I like to just merge everything and layer everything up and then have like a big, broad, random meaning for a card, and everyone else be like, what are you talking about? Oh, don't you know?
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what this will mean for me. This will be, I don't know, an adventure.
Yeah.
But I probably won't.
If you have lots of decks, right? So I've layered up herbal astrology. I've layered up astrology, herbals, the Thoth. I'm just looking at my pile over there. And then any other deck that you want to like layer in for visual, you can just do it with an RWS. You don't have to have other things. But I was like, I have all these decks, so I'm going to play with them, which I know that Madwick and I were discussing, is playing with lots of decks at the same time to make it fun on the table. So that's what I do. Like, I just lay out a nice big mush of mess and then see, and then does it give me a reading? Like, what does that mean? So what does, that card and that card relate to, and how do these ones like pyramid up?
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, you need space.
That part I don't have a lot of, but okay. That's why I have some mini decks, so I can do a bigger reading. I mean, I like mini decks. They're fun. They just are fun, but it lets me do a bigger reading. Do you have many minis? Many minis.
I have, yeah, I think I do actually. I think I probably have, I was going to say 8. I don't think it is. It's probably about 12.
Yeah, I think that's probably about what I have.
I think. Yeah, let's say 12. I don't count my decks. I don't have an order. I don't have an inventory. I have absolutely no idea. There's a bunch in that cupboard and that cupboard, and there's some in the bag under my table, and there's some in the box upstairs. There's some by my bed space. There's a bunch there. I mean, like, and that's like 3 decks deep as they go into the cupboard. So I have no idea.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I had a spreadsheet. I was looking down at my basket of minis. I had a spreadsheet at one point, and then I'm guessing sometime last year, like maybe last summer, I just was like, all right, whatever. It is what it is.
It is, yeah. Yeah,
So.
I do admire people who have these spreadsheets and this like whole kind of thing that's going on. I don't. I have so in here somewhere I have pages. Just find where I am. When you stop pulling things out, you lose where you are, don't you?
Yes, I know exactly what it's like.
This was like my working book for everything once upon a time. Like, my whole life was in this file of facts thing. And then, so it's like here, right? If I've come across you on a live, then you make it into these pages for referring back to, so I know who you are.
Oh, wow.
And then I have like my FOMO lists, and the arrows are the ones that make it into my collection, and the ones that haven't got arrows just haven't made it there yet. So and then it just keeps going. So this started out, I think it started out with just like, it was about to here, and then it made its way down, and then it's onto another page, and yeah. And now there's another diary, I think, that I start writing down decks that I want in it, plus the wish list on Amazon, and the basket and the buy later, and
yeah. Yeah. Good old Amazon. Love hate with Amazon for me.
Yeah. Yes.
Although Amazon is bringing me a new stand, because when I do my walkthroughs and stuff, I keep hitting my camera. I'm like, I gotta get a better stand. So
Did you have
hopefully,
like a snake arm thing?
the one that's coming is it's designed for artists, people who do art. So it's going to come over like this, because I had like a tripod that went out a certain amount, but I still had this tripod sitting next to me. So it kept banging it. So that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. We were talking about that yesterday. I think myself and Giselle were, or this week, we were just one like, how do you get over it? So you can't quite see it, but there.
Yeah.
That's the stand that I use. I just clip it, it clamps onto the side of a table. So I use that one clamped onto a table. Not in here, in another room.
Got it. Yeah, my table's too thick. The clamps don't work on mine, so I have to get a stand.
Yeah, so that one will do. I think it opens up to, it'll do like a butcher's block worktop thickness.
Oh, that's impressive.
So it's just a screw clamp, which is perfect.
I got distracted because Dancing Soul Sister says you have a FOMO list.
I did, yeah. I called it the FOMO list. Anyone else? Anyone else want to own up to such things?
I do have a FOMO. Well, I would say I have that category in my head, and that is pretty much a Kickstarter problem. So
I don't go on Kickstarter, to be honest. I don't search for decks on Kickstarter. Otherwise, I would have found that witch oracle, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's I get into trouble over there. And you know what? The truth of the matter is that usually the stuff that's on Kickstarter, eventually, the good stuff, they make extra, or it eventually ends up being mass market. So
it does, yeah. So the I mean, I'm still waiting on the literary tarot.
Oh, it's still, oh, okay. Like that deck, do I have it here? I think, no, I don't have it with me because I brought it downstairs. But the Witch Oracle, the WITCH Oracle that I got on Kickstarter, honestly, Tony, I'm really pretty sure that it's going to go to US Games, and the quality of the deck it's mass market quality. So I mean, I'm happy to support that creator. I like her. I like Angie Sellen's work, but I definitely could have waited. And I think you'll be able to get it.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. So I've just seen somebody was asking what's a FOMO, so fear of missing out list.
Yeah.
And on that list, I think I have the Forhuxa Tarot. And I very nearly paid through the nose to get, well, I don't know how much it was, but I nearly paid £90 to get that deck because I was so worried, because she sold out, didn't she? But then we've discovered it's going mass market. So at the end of the year for Christmas, it will be on my Christmas list, and I will pick it up then at my leisure rather than being pushed for fear of missing out.
Because I FOMO'd that deck.
Yeah, totally. And it's got spider in it.
Yeah, I've got it. It's gorgeous. You're going to love it. But I paid a lot of money for this deck, and I'm in the US. So.
And I need to color in some of the card on one of them. I think the 8 of Swords or something.
What about that card?
I think I need to color it in so I can use the deck.
Now I'm curious. What's in the 8 of Swords?
I think it's the 8 of Swords. I think it's the 8 of Swords.
I do hope that if, well, you know, it depends on what you like. But it's so slippery. Oh my gosh. It is so slippery. 7. It just slides. Oh, this.
Yeah, need to color that in.
What are you going to color it?
I don't care anything but that.
You got a spider
I'm
thing?
just going to color it in white. I don't care. I really do not care. I'm just going to blank that out.
Okay. Valid. Can I call you Ron?
Is he the same?
Huh?
Is Ron the same?
From Harry Potter. He's really got a thing
Ronald
about
Weasley.
spiders.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
does not. That is
Yeah, I don't
not
watch
okay
Harry
with
Potter.
you.
No, I don't watch Harry Potter, especially that particular series, film.
Okay. Fair
Yeah.
enough. We will not torture you with spiders. So, okay.
Yeah.
I think we're going to wrap it up. We're getting almost to the 2-hour mark. So, thank you so much, Tony, for sharing your wisdom and your insight with me. I'm very happy to have these decks, and I'm really looking forward to using them with what I've learned today. So, thank you so much for that. And I'd like to thank all of our people who are active in the chat. It does. I mean, I would have a lovely time chatting with Tony anyway, but you added a little spice to it. So thank you so much for participating and being here with us.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. It was lovely to see you. And it's true, it does. But because my tablet doesn't work and I can't see what's going on in chat, I have to keep looking down. So it's not that I'm ignoring everybody. It's like, oh, my phone's down there. And you're lucky because my eyesight from doing all this cross stitch that I haven't done this.
Oh, you need one of those. They make special gadgets for that. It's like a big O-ring with a magnifier.
Yeah, but it's like, this is my last one. I'm only doing 2, maybe 3. Depends how this one goes. Because there's one which is library. And that was really cool. And I probably should have got that one over the one that I got as my second. But never mind. If the second one, in about 30 days' time, is okay, I might get the other one just so then I've got 3 good ones. And then that'll be it. My needles will be hung up forever.
Okay. Ren just
so
said,
I don't know if I want like lots of equipment. I have just invested in a little frame for £8.
I
don't know, do you have those shapes?
This Ren said, I'm sorry, I hit the wrong thing. I hit night dot. An O-ring is a light that's shaped like a circle. So you can see you can probably see the reflection of my O-ring in my glasses. It gives you even light. So anyway, okay.
Or it's an old-fashioned toilet seat.
Yeah, or it's a toilet seat. So, all right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your weekend wherever you are. And if you are replay squatting it, thanks for stopping by and watching. And there it is. It's the Deviant Moon. We're fans. Bye-bye, everyone.